Have you ever heard the saying, if God leads you to it, he will lead you through it? And sometimes you just feel like, God, please stop leading me to it. Lead somebody else to it. I've been there. And this isn't totally off the cuff video. I wanted to talk about a client that I just recently had who was also there. And she was very overwhelmed, full of anxiety, stressed out. Everything was going wrong. Um, and she just needed to recenter. So Mel Robbins says very accurately that in order for change to happen, the pain of staying the same has to be greater than the pain of change. This is true. Our brains love to stay in the same space, even if it's painful, because our brain likes predictability. Um, but sometimes you just have to tell your brain to F off, and we're going to do things my way now. So fair warning, I recorded this video in the 100-degree heat outside because I am constantly stuck in an office where the air conditioner is on way too high and I have to wear a hoodie all day long, even though it's triple digits outside. So I like to soak it up when I can. So enjoy my shiny face. How do we start the whole process of change, especially when it seems so overwhelming, when everything's not going your way, when life just keeps on crashing down on you? And you feel like you're fighting through it, but really you're just surviving. The very first step that I take with anyone and myself is clarity. First of all, what is it that's going wrong right now that you cannot stay in anymore? There's a reason why you're here. What is it that you cannot do the same? What do you want things to actually look like for your life? Then the real deep work begins, and it is your why. This is something that you have to hang on to throughout the entirety because it is very, very easy to lose track of your why when life gets overwhelming again, because it will. The way I do the why is we start out with the first one. Okay, why do you want your life to change? In her instance, she's being overworked and undervalued, which, right, when you work for someone else, that's probably going to happen. She really wants to run her own business, and here's the secret. She has every capability of running her own business and being super successful. She has got the most infectious personality, and she's so kind, and she's so easy to be around. And what she does for a living is perfect. So she could do it if she had enough belief in herself. She will by the time we're done. The first why that we came to was, okay, why do you want to run your own six-figure business? And we started there because she's going to go beyond six figures, but that's really the first step, is like making something that might be realistic for her. And right now, even six figures seemed like out of reach for her own mindset. Crazy, because she's working for a company that she helps make far more than six figures for. I digress. I'm excited for her future because now that she's here and we're working together, I can totally see where this is going to go. So we had to get to her why. And the first why was, I don't want to live in somebody else's box. I want freedom. That, and yes, that's a good start. But I do 7-layer why. So why don't you want to live in somebody else's box? Why do you want freedom? Because there's a whole world out there and so many people just don't get to see it. Okay, why do you want to see the whole world? So when we got down to the 7th layer, it was, why don't you want to work for everyone else's benefit? And she said, because that's when I break free from my cage and I align with my own goals and my own values. And I stop working for everyone else's goals and values. Much more emotional and meaningful than I'm tired of living in somebody else's box, right? So this was the why. And when we got to that point, I could see her face. It just hit her like she'd never dug that deep before. She didn't even really think of it as a possibility. And her voice cracked a little bit. And when she was like, oh my God, so it's exciting to work with people with this her frequency, her energy, and her coachability and her belief. When you're trying to change anything, regardless of what it is, these flies love the smell of this conditioner in my hair. So when I was going through my downward spiral of perimenopause with ADHD and trying to figure out my symptoms and who I even was anymore, right? Like I had to go to a 7-layer Y. And it started out as, well, it started out as just weight loss because, I mean, come on. I mean, I'd been really fit all my life and I was jacked. I was a meathead, right? So that was important to me, not just for the aesthetic aspect of it, which is nice, but it was the way I felt about myself, how strong I felt, how confident I felt. And my why was, I just want to fit back in my jeans and not want to wear sweatpants everywhere all the time. That's great and all, but when I got down to the 7th layer, it was, I feel like I was a role model for my daughters and for other women, and now I'm an embarrassment, and I don't want to be an embarrassment to my daughters. And they've never made me feel that way. That was solely on me. But that why was so much stronger and so much more emotional than just I want to wear jeans again. And once I held on to that why, everything started to change. So as I was going through this journey by myself because I couldn't find anything, any information that really spoke to me where I had been in my life, going from that to what I was in my like 43 years old to 46 years old, like the downhill spiral. I couldn't find anything that was specific enough to what I was looking for. And so I had to do a lot of my own trial and error to figure out how to overcome the symptoms. Like you can't get out of perimenopause and ADHD. And by the way, ADHD is actually a perk, so don't let anybody tell you that it's not. But you put the two together and you really do struggle a lot more than people who don't have both. But even perimenopause by itself is hard enough to navigate. There was just not enough information, especially where I had been in my life and where I was trying to go. So I put together every step that it required for me to get back out of that. But a lot of that is mindset, and it applies to people who are not in perimenopause and who don't have ADHD. She does happen to have it, so not perimenopause, but ADHD. So, I mean, it applies in that way. It's not just about hormones and being crazy. And I don't know, I keep hearing about hot flashes. I'm still waiting for those to happen. I think I might welcome them because it's so cold all the time. Anyway, my whole point here is in getting started, I know I started my series about the first steps to overcoming perimenopause and ADHD, and it really was quitting alcohol. But in order to do that, I had to have my why, and I had to have my why on quitting alcohol. I had to have my why on, seeing this thing through. I had to have my why on why I'm starting YouTube. Had to get a lot of clarity in order to be able to help other women, which is my whole goal here. So if you find yourself trying to make any sort of change whatsoever and you're struggling, um, write down your why and start with your first why, and then really dig deep for the 7th layer of why. And if you want to, put it in the comments. Um, this is a small enough channel right now that you don't have to worry about anybody seeing it except for me. Once you have that 7th why, you write it down and you look at it every morning when you wake up and every night before you go to sleep. And throughout the day whenever you need to, but definitely when you first wake up, your brain is most pliable then and able to tap into your subconscious a little bit more, as well as right before you go to sleep. That's where you need to start. That being said, don't think that once you find your why, that it's a perfect linear journey because it is not. Even quitting alcohol was, I didn't even drink in a way that was like excessive, and it was very difficult. And I had slip ups. I still have slip ups once in a while. So I can't say that I'm perfect. My journey's not done. I have a lot to accomplish still, but I have come so far. And I decided I'm going to be the woman that I was looking for when I was really going through this alone. And it is not because there are not other women out there supporting, right? It was just that I was not finding what really spoke to me personally. If you feel like you could use some one-on-one coaching, I do provide that as well. I have the emergency mindset immersion. Also have just very in-depth perimenopause and ADHD steps to recover from the symptoms that are just the downward spiral of not knowing who you are, the weight gain, the foggy brain, just feeling like life is now over. No, it's not. It's not. So I'll put the link below for those. And I also have a free downloadable gratitude journal that I use every single morning. Go ahead and get that if you want to. And I suggest utilizing that. Thank you guys who are here, who do watch. And this is a safe space for women who to feel very comfortable, very heard. I don't allow mean people in the comments. Like if they have something that they disagree and they can do genuinely like respectfully, that's fine. But if somebody's just attacking like looks or personality, nah, it's not gonna stay. I have a specific audience that I'm talking to. I'm not interested in getting the comments and the views over negativity on there, so those will be deleted. That's not what I'm here for. I'm absolutely here because I want to help women go through what I've been through and what I'm still really going through, but definitely on the upside of things. If you feel like anything I'm talking about applies to you, please like and subscribe. I will never ask you to turn on notifications because, well, us ADHDers cannot have those on. So I don't have them on, and I won't ask you to have them on. I suck at formalities, so thank you for being here. Thank you for staying to the end, and I will see you in the next one.